As was promised, I am back, everyone. Hope you're all doing well and having a good night. So I found some interesting stuff out while I was messing around with this. I might explain more a little bit later. I'll wait to see if we have anyone show up who is interested in this sort of stuff. I know I have Vertigo on the Discord. It's funny, after I stopped streaming, the little test I was doing before, Vertigo showed up on the Discord actually asking about it, not aware that I was just streaming a short while ago. I thought that was pretty funny. So I wanted to mess around with something else tonight. I did a little bit of the 1440p in the very beginning, but then I switched over out of curiosity to see how 4K was. I was surprised at how it actually held up rather well with the delay and all, because I thought it'd actually be a bit longer. Still, I think it's probably significant enough that I may not want to stream that way. Because while it's a long way from what it used to be, where it really was like 45 seconds to a minute at one point, I think it was only 30 seconds at most when I was just trying out just a short while ago. And that could fluctuate. Maybe it's even shorter if I wasn't using AV1 for all I know. I haven't tested that in a while, so I wouldn't be too sure about that. May have to test out a couple of things in the near future just to get a grasp on these things, get caught up on how it is. But let me talk a little bit about what I'm going to be doing tonight. So I went to start streaming this just now, and it kind of had that same issue I had a little while ago where the stream kind of immediately went to that state where it wouldn't go above like 250 kilobits per second. And what that is I could actually pretty much deduce what that's actually showing. So that would correspond to the audio bit rate. So for whatever reason, it wasn't sending any video at all, only the audio. Now, why that happens, I'm not too sure yet. This is a, I don't even know if I'd call it a beta build, because this is just something I built off of the main GitHub branch of OBS. So it's like the latest version that was available at the time that I downloaded it and built the thing. So it's not even like it's a built executable that's like in beta or anything like that. It's pretty much on the cutting edge here. So it could be an issue on that front. It could also just be something that I'm messing up in the settings myself. Or it could simply also be YouTube doesn't know exactly how to handle everything, because it's all still somewhat new at this point. But I started the stream a second time, and it seems to have been holding up since then. So I'm going to play a little bit of a game right now, see how it goes. I'm curious if this game will even load, because it's in offline mode. Let's see here. I'm going to wait before I bring it up. Enjoy the cool 007 music. I think I've mentioned this before, but some of this music is, had a bunch of encoder lag while booting up the game. That's kind of typical, though. Okay. Some people may be able to tell what that is just from that. Alright, should I show what it is? Okay, let's show. You might be able to hear the music in the background. This is kind of iconic music, I guess. Let's put that on out there. Get rid of this image now. And, oh, that's right. We're using, what was it? Window capture, because it wasn't working before previously. Oh, wait, why did it? Oh, I know why I did that. I closed the wrong image down. Silly computer. I am messing everything up. Hold on a second. Bear with me. Good lord. There it is. Gotcha. So we have the world famous Elden Ring. Now, I'm gonna have to adjust the video settings here. Turn off the HDR. And the reason for that, oh, I might need to lower it. This game volume is very loud. I remember that. Let me lower this a little bit. So, from what I can tell so far, HDR is not compatible with the way AV1 is implemented in OBS and YouTube currently. And it could be something that needs to be improved on. I don't know if it... I actually don't know exactly what the cause is. Maybe YouTube does allow it, but right now OBS doesn't have it for some reason. Like, I can only speculate. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not like a part of the OBS team. I don't really stay up to date on like their if they have like press releases or whatever explaining this stuff. Or YouTube either for that matter. Like, I just heard about this like third party. So just from testing it out, I tried to put on HDR and it would not stream to YouTube. They was saying it was unsupported. So looks like SDR is the only way to do it currently unless I'm missing something. Oh, that's right. I need to use the controller for this game. Hopefully it'll just... Okay, there we go. Yay, now it works. Yeah, inappropriate activity. Now, one thing that I had been doing prior to this, if you want to know what the inappropriate inactivity is, or whatever they want to call it, I downloaded the mod to play this game in 120 frames per second. I actually disabled that for this right now, because apparently they added ray tracing to this game, and it was kind of demanding. So I turned the other settings off, because I'm not going to be able to really make full use of the frame rate anyway at this point. And there's no DLSS, which they should probably add, because that would help out a lot for ray tracing, as it does with every game pretty much. Alright, so let's mess around a bit. And currently I'm broadcasting this at 1440p. May have mentioned that before. And we're only doing 10 megabits per second, so I'm going to check my phone. See how it all looks. Like I was doing the other time. Here we go. There's my stream. Hey, how's it going, James Wolf? You know what? I usually include that. It's the 4090. I usually include it in the description or in the title, but this time I should probably add it, shouldn't I? Okay, let's see if I can do that. I think it's a very good idea. Oh, okay, game, please don't crash. I'll even throw the processor in just for the sake of it. Ugh, I can barely read this. There, that looks right, I think. Okay, whew. I don't think it crashed. Yes, it's fine. Kind of lagged up a little bit, but that's to be expected. Alright, so let's just go around a little bit here. I'm just going to get an idea of how it looks while I'm watching on my phone. Oh, what's this? I don't know why that's there. Kill some of these little zombie dudes. Hey, what are you guys up to? Yeah, they're a little bit defenseless. They'll like try to swing at you, but they don't really do all that much. Oh, that's right, you had the dragon down there. So I was just messing around with the game at one point a couple months ago, and this is just a save I was using. Probably should at some point work on doing the second run that I was originally going to do with this, because I wanted to try out magic, but never really got around to finishing that. I think we maybe did the one part of it. It's looking good for you so far? Awesome. I'm like trying to look at both at once, but it's hard to play that way. Yeah, I think it does look pretty good. Let me make sure. You know, I'm not even... I love when I do this. My phone was set to 720p. Alright, well, yeah, that's even more clear now. Alright, let me try to go around a little bit here. See how this looks. Uh-oh. There's the game lagging up. This game does have some lag issues on PC. I'm surprised they never fixed that. That was the game itself. Oh yeah, that looks good. And the nice thing is, I could always broadcast at a higher bitrate too. Oh. Oh, I don't have that set up, do I? Oh, it's because I was messing around. Was that you, James? If so, I appreciate that. I should probably fix that now. That's because I had to quickly set it up for the stream. Put that there. Oh no, I'm being attacked. What a jerk. Sneaking up on me. I guess you should probably rest up, huh? It was you? Okay, thank you very much. It's awfully cool of you. So tonight I'm just messing around a little bit. Now, I was going to explain a little bit about what I intend to do in the future regarding this thing. The AV1 Streaming. I guess I don't need to talk to anyone. So for the most part, I'm probably going to stick with what I had been doing prior to this, where I stream with HEVC, and I guess I'll record the video in AV1 for uploading after the fact. And the reason for that is, there are a couple of detriments to streaming in AV1 that it doesn't really have a couple of features that would really... I should probably not fight them in here, because they're just gonna... Oh, nice! He's taking care of that asshole for me. How nice of him. So yeah, there's the Oh, and there's the lag again. This game is really bad with the lag. It's probably even worse with the ray tracing now, isn't it? So there's the HDR, which is kind of like the first thing. So there's a couple of games I've been playing lately that obviously make use of that. Whoa. That's right. This character is a lot more basic than the one I was eventually playing later when I did this game for real. So have to be aware of that. Like with Cyberpunk in particular, that game benefits a lot from the HDR implementation. And the other thing was the thing we found out earlier on as well, where I can't really rescale the video size just for the stream itself. Now, these might be things they work into the encoder later on. And at that point, I definitely will move to using it. But I'm not really disappointed at all, because this is a test build, first of all. It's cool to see it actually works in the first place. Because I actually had a feeling it wasn't going to work at all. I thought it was just going to backfire, and it wouldn't even really go out to YouTube, or YouTube wouldn't be able to handle it. You know, so far, this stream's holding up to you. I'm trying to look over while avoiding getting murdered as best I can. Oh, he's going to do the whirlwind, I think? Oh, he's doing that drag. Uh-oh. That was close. Let's heal up quickly. Here we go. Let's not get greedy. Uh-oh. That was too soon. And I'm not sure exactly how those things are going to be implemented, because the way that this AV1 streaming currently works... Oh, I forgot he could do that. Is it's using the RTMP protocol that YouTube has, and it's apparently an updated version of that. And the whole thing before was... It's gonna kill me just doing that. And I can't get too close because this guard's gonna... Well, whatever. Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't kill the guard by doing that. Whoa. Did he stumble? Oh, he did. Oh, I need to target this guy so we can do the special. There we go. Nice. Oh, God. Hold on. I think I saw a question, but... Oh, it got retracted. Okay. Oh, good. He did kill that guy for me now. There we go. The codec works for AMD too? That I'm not too sure about. Okay. Yeah, I think you said something about if it only works with the newer graphics cards. So I know that AV1 is available at least on the NVIDIA 4000 series, and it's also available on the Intel Arc cards. I assume it's the whole generation of Arc cards that have come out, but I'm not really familiar with them in general. And I know AMD came out with some graphics cards last fall as well. I don't know what they come with. It may have it. Ah. Yeah, he's got that big shield. Of course, I should be using my shield, I guess. But I would expect it to work with AMD. Since both NVIDIA and Intel implemented it, I don't know why they wouldn't have. Alright, that's cool. I just wanted to fight against that guy. Maybe I'll try around a little bit more just to kind of explore. Oh, value your inputs. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, welcome to the membership, Value. I appreciate it. You honor me. Deciding that I'm actually worth it. Especially on a silly test stream like this. Let's see how it looks at night, because I'm curious how YouTube encoding will handle that. Sometimes it struggles with darker scenes, huh? This game doesn't really get too dark at night. It might have gotten darker with HDR, but I can't use it for this right now. But yeah, going back to the whole streaming protocol thing. So there's two protocols that you can use, at least with YouTube. There's something called RTMP, and the other one was, I think it's HLS. And HLS was the newer one, and you can only use HEVC, which was a better encoding method with HLS, and that also was the only way to do HDR. But now they've updated RTMPS essentially to work with AV1, but it doesn't seem to work with HLS. This is all a bunch of confusing acronyms, I know, for people who have like no idea what this is, but basically it means some of the features don't. Oh, we didn't kill this guy yet in the scene. I guess we could try to kill the Nazgul-looking guy. This guy was so cool, especially the first time you meet him, because like you don't expect it. Here we go. Yeah, this is Elden Ring I'm playing right now to test it out on. I played this last year, and I've always intended to do some kind of second run eventually to this. It's a cool game to test on because they recently implemented ray tracing in this game to make it look a little bit nicer. Oh boy. Yeah, this guy's probably gonna kill us. Yeah, what I've heard about Elden Ring is that the first time you're playing the game, I forget exactly what the term is for it, but the shader cache essentially is not really set up in a way that things like run smoothly. I don't know the technical side of it exactly. I just heard like it described before. And essentially, like when certain animations load for the first time, they stutter when they load for whatever reason. So it's generally a game that runs better the second time you play it. Or like the more you play it, the more you've already seen every animation. So you're not going to have that same issue. And I would have thought maybe they'd fix the underlying problem behind it, but it seems like that's probably not the case. Because I noticed it a bit when I was doing this. Of course, you have all the guys attacking us at the same damn time. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is not good. Let's get away. That's probably why in the Hogwarts game, it does that thing at the beginning where it's like, oh, loading the shaders. And they do it all at the beginning of the game, that way they don't freeze up later. So I guess that is the ideal way of doing that. I'm just confused why that wasn't a problem with games until, like, the last couple of years. Maybe it's just how advanced the graphics have gotten? I don't know. Okay, finally killed one of these guys. Uh-oh. That was close. Now, oh god, there's a whole brigade of guys coming. I have to be careful of that. Now, if I remember with this game, if you get too far away from the fighting arena, they do disappear. Not exactly a fighting arena, but the area where the fight's supposed to take place. Like, this is supposed to take place on this bridge here, so if we were to travel too far away, I think he would despawn. In fact, I remember that happening at least once when we were playing this game. Oh, he actually regenerated my flask for me. Cool. That was awfully kind of him. So if these guys show up, I don't know what's going to happen. It's probably going to make that fight even more annoying. Oh, ow, that was not good. Ooh, it's right on my ass. Yeah, I don't remember what this character's stats are, because I was messing around with this earlier. Much earlier. Months ago, earlier. And I've never been someone who could do like a no-hit run of this game, or any of these games. Probably don't need to explain that. You guys are seeing that right here. There we go. Alright, well that gives me plenty of material to review later to see how it all goes. Now, I might try stepping it up here and seeing how this game looks if I increase the bitrate, because I am curious to see how that changes. And it should let me change this on the fly. Alright, we're doing 1500 now. No, 15,000, I mean, actually. Oh, that's funny. It was mine, too. I played... What was it? I played a little bit of Demon's Souls. I played a little bit of Dark Souls 1. But I never got very far in them. And this is the only one that I ever finished so far. I have always said I'm going to go back eventually and try to do the other ones as well. But I have yet to have actually done that. These are basic guys. I should be able to defeat them, I hope. That probably shows I'm a bit rusty at this, huh? Yeah, the gameplay's good. It's really, really smooth as long as the game is working. And I will have to say here, the ray tracing does work well in this game, but it is demanding. Because I am getting some drops every now and then. If this had DLSS, I'm sure it would be smooth, but... Oh, we killed the horse. That guy's just running at us normally now. Oh, he's gonna do something now? Let's get away from him. There we go. Alright, these guys should be weaker. I almost thought this little guy would run away from us with his commander dead. Oh, you know what? I think, wait, nope, it's fine. YouTube has a warning about the bitrate dipping low, so I wonder if that was an issue before, but it looks like it's steadied out now at least. Because currently it is showing up as the right amount. I guess I could look at it on my phone again and see how it looks. YouTube is saying the stream's bitrate is only 500 kilobits per second, but OBS is showing 15,000. And looking at the stream, it definitely looks better than 500. Yeah, so I don't know what that's talking about. That's just inaccurate. YouTube doesn't... Yeah, now it's saying it's excellent, so that's just YouTube not always being accurate with the information. So I didn't really talk about it too much leading up to this, because I wasn't sure exactly if I was going to do this, but I had been planning for, I guess it was a couple of months now, to eventually do the new Zelda game when it came out. But there's a couple of factors looking at it that I'm not sure if I'm going to do that now anymore. And the reason mainly, I don't want to get too much into a whole talk on it. I might do it eventually in the future if I get pulled into it again. Kind of like the way I was for Breath of the Wild. But I was looking at the trailer for the game, and it really hasn't really captured my interest as much as I was hoping it would. Now, I had been ignoring it for the most part, kind of like how I did with most games. I always mention how I don't really look at trailers or the preview footage, but I heard a lot of things about it, some interesting things that I didn't really know if I was exactly believing what they were saying about the game, so I wanted to see it for myself. And after seeing the trailer, I'm not sure if I'm going to be interested in it. Which I was hoping to actually have another Zelda game that I'd be into and do a whole stream of, but it just isn't looking that way, unless they come up with more information later. What I might end up doing is just playing this game again. Value says, just because you mentioned it, I have heard some good things about Dark Souls. Yeah. I mean, even when I wasn't really playing the games, I heard a lot of good things about them, and I had a lot of respect and interest in the series, even though I was like, I don't know if they're for me. And I even played them a few times, and I'm like, well, this game isn't the sort of thing I would play, but I definitely see the appeal of it. And I had a lot of respect for the game design, the lore, and the world they set up. It was always something that interested me. And, you know, now that Elden Ring's been out, oh, here we go. Here's the that lag that I was mentioning. Probably because of the birds flying away. That might have been like what caused it to happen. Because that's like a new animation I guess I haven't found before. So like a year out from the game being released pretty much at this point, a lot of the complaints that people kind of made about it were that it's kind of like the easy version of Dark Souls, essentially. And I could definitely see that. Oh, thank you for the information, game. Because when I played Demon Souls and Dark Souls, those are games that definitely kicked my butt relentlessly the first couple of times I played them or tried to play them. And I eventually kind of like, well, I don't know. It's not like for me, I guess. But Elden Ring was easy to get into, right? Because it was an open world game. You can kind of go around, do whatever you feel like, play the game in a number of different ways by, you know, essentially grinding up for levels in different areas. And I was able to get into it, play the whole thing. But what I feel like now is if I did try to play the other games again, I probably would have a better understanding of them because now I'm more familiar with the mechanics. And I know the mechanics of this game are somewhat different from the other games, but they're probably still like, what, 80% similar for the most part? James says it's better to play the game and not listen to people's opinions. Everyone has a different taste. Yeah, that's how I feel too. And that's why for the most part, I usually ignore stuff like trailers. Like, people ask me about things and say, like, oh, have you seen the latest trailer for this game? What do you think about this? I'm like, I haven't really seen it. Because I like to go into things not really knowing what to expect. It makes things more enjoyable for a number of different reasons. You know, that sense of discovery, not really knowing what you're getting into. That's like the best part of a game for me. And I really think that if I had been paying like all attention to the Breath of the Wild game before it first came out, I would have been really bored of it. Because I didn't know what to expect going into Breath of the Wild, and I was playing and I liked the whole sense of discovery and figuring out everything about the game. But it definitely left a sense of wanting more by the end of it. And I think if I knew ahead of time that's what it was going to be, I probably would have gotten bored much quicker than I did. And I never even streamed that game or played it online for you guys to see at any point. So I guess you wouldn't even know how much I played it to begin with, but I pretty much did the whole thing. But yeah, the thing that got me with the new Zelda game is, like, some people are saying, like, have you seen, like, the trailers for it? It looks like Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts, because now they have like these vehicles you build, and I'm like, what? Like, why would you build a vehicle in a Zelda game? Well, that was bullshit. So I watched this video of it, and I'm like, oh, like, that actually is what's going on here. And I'm guessing there's more to the game than just that, but that's what the whole trailer focused on, and I'm like, that's... I don't know. What I was hoping the whole Zelda game would focus on was more of the dungeon crawling. And I didn't even see anything about that in the little bit I watched of it. So it kind of demotivated me from playing it. Oops. I have to be careful here. There's a hole, apparently. So, you know, it probably goes into why I should follow the ethos of not really looking ahead of time into certain things like that. Previews or reviews and first glimpses. Because they can definitely color your opinion of things before we even get into them. But I mean, it's funny, right? Because that's the whole thing that the industry is reliant on, these first glimpses and reviews and previews. Like, they're broadcasted from Nintendo themselves. They want you to see that. The last Zelda game that I played was Twilight Princess on GameCube. Oh, yeah. Twilight Princess is the first Let's Play I ever did on this channel. That's my baby. Yeah, we got started on that. Of course, we played it a couple years after it came out. That was in 2011 when we played it on this channel here. And yeah, that's gotta be one of my favorites too. It's funny because a lot of people have kind of talked a lot of crap about it after the fact, but I still like it a lot. I don't know what people have against it. I think there's a lot of weird stuff in the game, and maybe that's what people don't like. Like, the whole stuff with Link turning into a wolf is kind of out of left field, I guess. But I thought it was kind of neat, the combat system and how it worked. Admittedly, the whole part where you have to find the bugs repeatedly, that gets annoying after the first 2 or 3 times you do it. And you have to do it like 4 times or 5 times or something. I don't know. I say the first 2 or 3 times. Like, after the first 2 times, definitely get sick of it. Alright, let's see if we get it back here. Let's give it a second to load in. So that's the other reason why I'm probably not going to be streaming with the AV1 settings just yet. Since this is still kind of in the testing phase. It has little issues like that. That happened earlier as well when I was testing this out. I was curious if it was going to happen with the lower resolution setting, because when I was testing out before it was in 4K. So I wasn't so surprised that... Oh, it's back? Okay. You might want to refresh your stream just in case it has lag now, because sometimes when YouTube does that, when it crashes and it comes back, you might be like a minute behind, because I noticed it did that in the past anyway. So I was wondering if it was going to have the same kind of, essentially, bitrate crashing, as I call it, as it did in 4K with the 1440p that I'm testing now. And apparently it does. It actually didn't do it as quickly as it did last time, though. Because we were actually playing that for a good while there, wasn't it? I can't see the time that I started at. Oh, okay, I can see now in this. So that was about like a half hour. Interesting. But yeah, essentially, that's the explanation for why I'm going to be sticking with doing the HEVC streaming and then just recording it on the computer in AV1. Once this is finally released in its final form, maybe then I will stream with this as well. The OBS messages? No. I think that's to do with the fact that this is I'm using a developmental build of OBS. It doesn't show any kind of message about that. What happens is it just shows the bitrate that's going to YouTube suddenly goes down to like 200 kilobits per second, somewhere like that. and it just kind of dies. But this is all in early testing still. It's not even like a beta. It's just a build that I got off of GitHub from OBS's official GitHub and built it so I could play it on Windows, run on Windows. So I'm not surprised it has issues like that, but it is what it is, I guess. That's what this whole testing thing is for. And that's why I didn't want to play any actual game that I was invested in terms of doing story or something like that. But it's definitely got me looking forward to the future when they have this all running smoothly, right? Because I could already tell just from watching the video back when I could before that it looks great the way it does. And ideally, if they get it working 100%, then I could just stream with AV1 and record enough of that as well. I won't have to do it on both ends, essentially. Streaming and recording separately. Not that it's a big deal, because my computer can handle either way, it seems. But I think in certain games it does cause a little bit of hitching, as we've seen in the past. But I kind of got the settings optimized for the most part where we don't run into that. So the nice thing would be I could probably get a little bit more quality out of a lesser bitrate. Because it's funny is YouTube will complain to me sometimes when I'm streaming the other way, where it's like, oh my god, you're streaming this at this bitrate, like we recommend this number instead. I'm like, oh, too bad. It looks better if I'm doing it this way. So I might wrap it up here. You know what I'm curious to test out real quick? I don't know if YouTube will freak out about this. But let me see. I'm going to stop the stream real quick, and then it's going to start again, so just bear with me a minute. Alright, so I was curious to see here. Let's see if this comes back. I was wondering if YouTube will actually allow me to switch what encoder I'm using mid-stream. So right now I just switched to the regular AVC, H.264, whatever you want to call it, to see what would happen. And let me know how the quality looks compared to what we were just streaming at, you know, a couple of minutes ago. Because I'm curious to hear how much of a difference that made just now, if you could tell. Looks like it actually just loaded fine, too. So it doesn't seem to mind switching midstream, which I'm actually surprised about. I thought it would cause the whole thing to freak out. Oh, and yeah, James Wolf, I wouldn't be surprised if the number of people streaming like this could be counted on one hand. Because you can't just download a version of OBS that has this. You have to build it from scratch right now. Unless someone actually has gone and like made a version like that you could download. But like I couldn't find a copy online. Because you can't even download a beta from this from the OBS website. Oh, yeah, so YouTube is always going to say VP9 essentially for these streams. Because what happens is you can upload different formats to YouTube, and YouTube's going to re-encode them every single time. So when I was streaming AV1, it's going to YouTube in AV1 format, and YouTube processes that, and then it sends out VP9 to anyone watching the stream. And if you're streaming the video in AVC, it's also going to do that, where it takes the video, converts it to VP9, just because it's more efficient for them to send out that way with their current implementation. So I can't control what YouTube is sending out on their end. I can only control what I'm sending to YouTube, and what they're able to do with that is, that's all on them. Oh, I got my shield up. Where's my sword? There we go. Luckily it was a weak zombie. But did you happen to notice if the video quality looks different at all? Did it get worse when I switched over like that? It may be that I'm streaming at a high enough bitrate, it doesn't really matter. Because what I went from was 15,000 on AV1 to 15,000 on AVC. And it may be that it's only at lower bit rates that you could suss out the difference, essentially. I'm trying to look real quick on my end, just see if I can tell. Now, the problem is my phone is still kind of tiny. Yeah, let me get in motion again. I think the whole thing with the bitrate right now is that's kind of adequate to begin with, for the most part. Because I'm not seeing a whole bunch of difference unless I kind of move around a bit. Let's see. Yeah. I can see I'm like moving around a little bit more now. Yeah, I'm spinning around because this is like 5 seconds ago. You have to bear in mind. Gets a little bit more blurry, maybe. Oh yeah, I would agree. Yeah, James, thanks. Looks a little bit better. I would kind of say the same thing. It's not like a big deal breaker, but I think it was a little bit smoother before, and what's the word? It didn't get as pixelated, essentially. Or blurry in certain spots. What is that? Oh, that's a donkey in the guy. Yeah, that's right. Guy looks like Santa. I'm also kind of messing around with this in here to see if it has that same issue where the bitrate's going to crash after a while. Just to see if it's something to do with AV1 or if it's something else in the workflow I have set up here. Maybe like the version of OBS I built has some kind of problem to it. It was kind of a problem to set it up in the first place. I kept on running into errors because I wasn't setting up correctly. So like when I went to build it, it wouldn't build correctly until I finally figured everything out. I had to update a certain program the whole thing is reliant on to actually build in the first place. Because the version I was using before was too old, apparently. Yeah, you think it looks about the same to value? Yeah, I would say. It's not really enough for me to notice, either. You know what we could do? Alright, let's go with something more extreme here. Since that's working so far. Let's starve it a little bit. So this is only 5,000 kilobits per second. Now this isn't even recommended for 1080p. Because 1080p on Twitch, they recommend 6,000. So 5,000 kilobits per second. Just have a look at it, shall we? And this is with AVC. Or H.264, essentially, with NVIDIA and NVINC. Yeah, especially if you pay attention to the grass, you can kind of see a lot more blurring now. I want to do it at daytime because that's what I was doing earlier. And I want to have it kind of consistently in appearance. Oh, now it's raining. Actually, you know what? Rain's probably a good thing. Let's test that with rain. Because that usually leads to more pixelization. If you understand video compression. Then you know. And if I'm not talking, or if I sound weird, it's because I'm looking at my phone off to the side. Ah, yeah. I can see the telltale signs there. Let's go in the dark a little bit. Yeah, not the worst quality, but you can definitely notice that pixelization there. Now, let's try 5,000 with AV1. since it just lets me switch. All right. Now, I did have to stop the stream to restart it in AV1, but that should just take a second for it to get re-caught up on everything. And here we go again. I'm going to look at my phone as I'm doing this. Going to a tree. Get out of there. Thank you, input. Or, input. Thank you, value your inputs. And thank you for your input. I'm glad you like the audio quality. I actually did change it up relatively recently to try to improve it. And I think it actually has worked out. Oh, what happened? Oh, my controller died. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I haven't changed this battery in a long time. I wonder if I have one nearby. I might. So how did that look? Did that look improved with the AV1? It looked less pixelated to me anyway. I'll have to review it on the full screen eventually. Hopefully these batteries work. Come on. There. Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, it did, didn't it? You have to say, though, I think it still definitely benefits from having the higher bitrate. But it definitely makes low resolution, not low bitrate streaming more viable. Because it helps out a lot with the pixelization. In fact, I'm curious here. What if we go ridiculous on this? Oh, I think the game crashed. Oh, maybe not. No, I think it's still there. What if I lower it to something even less? Just for the fun of it. What if we set to 1000? This is 1000 in AV1. It's not gonna look good, I'll tell you that much. But I want to know how pixelated this actually gets, if I can tell. Yeah, that gets very blurry. I'm not surprised though. 1000 is really low. The interesting thing about it is that while it gets blurry as hell, it doesn't get pixelated the same way that AVC does. And I've heard that before and people have kind of reviewed it. Try 1000? Oh yeah, we did think the same. That's funny. Oh, you've worked with video editing software before, Value Inputs? Which ones are you familiar with? I'm just curious. Should we see how AVC is just for fun as well? Alright, I'm going to restart the stream really quick. So it'll just be a second. But I want to see just how bad that gets with the pixelization. Because I'm assuming it's going to be horrible. And you know, it's funny. I remember my friend Mike. Who, you know, if... obviously, you guys who are here all the time know who he is. But just for James, he's someone that do streams with every now and then. Back in the day, he could only stream with like 500 megabits. Or not megabits, 500 kilobits per second. And I remember how bad his streams looked at that time. Oh yeah, look at that. That is the same bitrate that we were just doing before. But that, like, even without turning a whole bunch, like, significantly worse. Holy crap. So this makes streaming at a low bitrate very, very viable. Like, it may not look outstanding, but you can actually watch it. Unlike this. Yeah, like this is what Mike streams used to look like. I remember when he was doing that. It's like watching it through like frosted glass, essentially. Oh, man. Alright, I'm being chased. I don't want this guy to kill me while I'm trying to switch settings here. Come here. Gotta get you out of my way. Oh, it's going Super Saiyan on me. Ow! Oh! Okay, that was a pretty cool death animation. I gotta admit. I didn't know they could do that. That's cool. Well, that gives me a chance to reload, I guess. So I'm gonna go back to AV1. And I'm not gonna tell you what the bitrate is until we mess around with it, just out of curiosity. I want to see what you guys' opinion on it before I reveal what it is. Alright, we should be coming back shortly. I'm gonna have to get those souls back, I guess. Hey, it is funny because I'm probably one of the few people that played this game first but still call them souls and everything like that. Just because I'm used to other people's playthroughs of this game and whatnot. Yeah, again, it's interesting because it's, you can tell the blurriness of it, but just the fact that it doesn't really pixelate the same way makes it look pretty damn good. Because unless you're looking closely, you're probably not going to even, really notice too much of the blurring. Because your eyes are going to be drawn to, the main focus of, whatever's going on. As long as the background's not doing anything ridiculous, it doesn't really jump out at you. And also, using AV1, this is still not really, recommended at the bitrate that I'm using this at for 1440p. So what do you guys think about this, currently the way it looks? Probably watchable, right? If you had to watch a whole stream like this? Would you consider it passable, I'm wondering? Oh, okay. We had a little bit of lag. That's from the game itself again. Looks good, but I can't really see if there's much motion blur. Yeah, I could see the... Well, not motion blur, because I think I have that turned off. Yeah, I usually turn off motion blur. But I can see, the little bit of blur from just, things not having, the optimal amount of bitrate to work with. Definitely watchable? Okay. So this is at 2500 kilobits per second. Or 2.5 megabits, essentially. So that's pretty good. You know, a lot of people can stream at that setting. Even with, not the best internet. That's pretty cool. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to do. Or is that, Yeah. Unless you guys have any kind of suggestions. For, things you want me to test out real quick. You thought it was 6,000? We can see what 6,000 looks like to see what kind of improvement that makes. I mean, yeah, it looks much better than you'd expect it to. That's for sure. 6,000. Let's go. So 6,000 would be the Twitch settings. And the other thing you have to keep in mind is that with how it looks on YouTube, that is still a result of the video being re-encoded on YouTube's end. So the actual video that gets recorded is still better quality than what you're seeing on YouTube. I'm not saying how much better it's going to be necessarily, but the fact is anytime you re-encode video, it's going to suffer at least to some degree. So if you were to stream 6,000 kilobits directly to Twitch in AV1, it would look even better than this. But this is 6,000 right now. Because, you know, like you noticed, YouTube does re-encode it to VP9 because it's YouTube's default currently. And it would be smart of YouTube eventually if they did include source encoding, essentially, where they just take directly what's being sent to them and put it out to the viewers. Assuming your bitrate's under a certain amount, I guess, because, I mean, you probably can't be putting out 50,000 kilobits per second to everyone on the site trying to watch the stream at the same time. That'd probably absolutely destroy the world. You know, it's funny. I'm trying to, like, see if I could tell a difference, and I'm looking at this on a small screen, of course. And, like, I don't see, like, the biggest difference between going to 6,000 and, like, 2,500. Like, 2,500 still looks pretty good. It's funny the way this works out. Because usually the way you're best able to tell the difference in bitrate is, like, the pixelization level. And with this, the thing it impacts is just, like, how much certain details are blurred. And for the most part, like, stuff that you're looking up close, like, that's pretty clear and crisp. And it's the stuff that is further away on screen that tends to get blurred the most, from what I can tell. Which you're usually not looking at anyway. Like, I'm trying to look at it intentionally to see the difference. So yeah, this is super promising. Very good things on the horizon here. This is going to be great for anyone who's streaming. See the difference in the grass? Yeah, the grass is one of those details that gets affected by bitrate very easily. Yeah, look at that grass in the background. Beautiful. Look at our face. I forgot what kind of character we were making. I think I just kind of like did like a default one. Looks pretty beaten up. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so very promising thing in the future. Can't wait to see when this gets finalized, because I'm hoping when it does, it'll have all the other features that I've come to expect with HDR, rescaling the video resolution for streaming. That way it could be done in a certain resolution and it could be recorded in another. And yeah, that would really sell the deal. Also, of course, if they get things fixed up with the crashing that I noticed, you know, that could be on either end. I'm not really sure. It could be this test version of OBS. It could be something to do with my computer not liking it, setting up wrong, or maybe even YouTube not handling it somehow just yet because it's still relatively new. A lot of things it could be. You know, it's still time to get that worked out on. I don't think the new OBS version's coming out for a while yet. Yeah, that's what I noticed. Everything, like, that's up close looks really, really good. Like, I can even zoom in on my phone a little bit. Yeah, like, you could easily do 6,000 for 1440p now. And that's pretty impressive, because if you're going to be streaming to Twitch, you know, there you go. Like, that actually makes it viable. The funny thing is, I don't even know if Twitch is set up to run with 1440p in general. I know they don't have AV1 yet either. But, like, could you stream 1440p if you're doing it at just, you know, the typical bitrate and with AVC? I'm not too sure. I don't really deal with Twitch all that much. But yeah, I was thinking about messing around with another game, but I think that's actually kind of all I needed for this run. Because I already know that HDR is not going to work with the other games I was going to try this with anyway. So there's no reason to try that out now. But if you guys had anything you wanted to see, I'll try it out real quick. Otherwise, I'm probably going to just end this for the night. And then when we pick up again, I'm going to go back to the default way of doing things, at least for now. But this is a cool little glimpse of the future anyway, I think. I always enjoy this stuff. Yeah, no problem. And thanks a lot, James Wolf. Yeah, if you ever want to stop by, you're more than welcome. You have yourself a good night. And I'll wish you a good night as well, Value. If anyone else was lurking, I know that Nanotrites like slurk in the background sometimes of these streams. So if you're lurking as well, Nanotrites, I'll wish you a good night. And you know, I guess maybe I will do another stream of Elden Ring in the near future too. Of course, I'm eating a cookie, so excuse me. I know I shouldn't be eating on stream in the first place, but this is just casual. Of course, I'll be streaming Elden Ring with HEVC, and we'll do HDR and all that good stuff. Yeah, glimpse of the future. You know, the future is now, as they say. Comes around closer. It's closer than you think, quicker than you think. One of those words. I can't English very well. Please forgive me. All right, Value. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Farewell.